Well, good morning. Welcome to Sunday Snacks.
Hi, I'm Ellie.
And I'm Sam. We don't ever seem to do this the same twice.
No,
do
we don't.
Well, today we're going to talk.
Confused.
We are very confused. Today we're going to talk about food prep, though, which is, I think, near and dear to not only my heart but also my stomach.
Yeah, I go along with that.
So when we are talking about food prep, we don't mean it in the sense of, we're going to go work at a restaurant.
Yeah, or cutting up and
we're talking about the mental preparation around eating, because frankly,
nourishment.
Yeah, around nourishing your body, because let's just be real, there are a reason why things like Weight Watchers, Noom, and all these other things exist. I am a person that is anti-diet. I don't know about you.
Obviously, I just like to eat.
But I'm very anti-diet, and I've been that way for my whole life. And I have a very good relationship with food, but I think that's because I make my food, but it doesn't necessarily mean I make everything. So let's be really transparent on that. I am a very big advocate for the theory behind something like Noom. I don't know. Do you know the theory behind it? Mm-hmm. So Noom is about approaching the psychology of food and around what maybe you...
Sorry.
There's no sorry.
That's why dieting doesn't work with me.
But that's not a diet. That's the great part about it. The friends that I've seen who've had success with it have really changed their relationship with food. And that's what it's been. It's not been like, I'm going to not eat certain things. It is literally the relationship they have with food. And for me, the reason why I feel like I have a very good relationship with food, and because I make a lot of it myself, is that I am engaged in every part of that process. So I'm smelling it, I'm feeling it, I'm seeing it, I'm tasting it along the way. I'm hearing things as, they pop or sizzle, and having a full body experience with food. Therefore, food prep is far easier. And you laugh, but you know what I'm getting at.
I do. Sorry.
I can't help this. This is just who we are, and it's fine.
Yeah.
It's all fine. But, as a mom of 2 kids, I used to work full-time as a teacher, and one of the biggest things that saved my butt every day to be able to still have a home-cooked meal that wasn't always pasta was to really just take a moment each week and plan out the meals that we were going to have. That way it was easy to pull something out the night before. So when I got home, it would only take me 30 minutes to make dinner, because I would have already had thawed chicken, or we would have purchased everything we needed on the weekend and potentially chopped it up.
Yep.
Not always. I usually do a lot of the chopping still that same day. But at the end of the day, the reason why my family was able to eat home-cooked meals together while I was working a full-time job was because I had the forethought to prepare for that week. And one of the things that did that for me was knock-knock pads. All right, go for it. Make fun of them all you want.
I just think that's an interesting name.
Knock-knock pads have been my lifesaver, and I know she makes fun of them, but they work for me. And what they are these heavy-duty notepads that have literally a list of potential foods that you need from the grocery store. So as something finishes in my pantry, I can just check it off and say, oh, I need more apples, or I need more pasta, or I need more flour. They're all there. They're already pre-written. All I have to do is put a check mark, because I recognize that that's something that's missing. And then there's the other one that I have that I get in tandem that is simply a week's meal planning. So dinners are the largest block, and it's, 7 days of, are we going to eat at home, or what's the meal going to be, and who's making it? So we literally do that, and we do it with our kids now that they're old enough to make decisions about the food we eat. So that 10 minutes tops of food prep mentality on a Sunday before I go to the grocery store saves my butt, money,
Mm-hmm.
and it also makes the rest of the week go so much smoother.
And everybody's happier because they've all had a say in something they want to eat.
Yeah.
That's an awesome idea.
But it's different for you. Food prep's different for you because you live by yourself. How does that work for you?
Well, I think for a lot of older people, we grew up cooking a lot, and then we have a hard time downsizing how we cook. And for me, I just go ahead and cook the big batch and put it in smaller containers for and freeze it. So like if I'm making a stew, I'll only put enough potatoes in for a day or two,
Okay.
and then I'll take the rest of the stew base and carrots and things like that that freeze nicely. Potatoes don't freeze well. They and put those in smaller containers, and then all I have to do is just add a potato and let it simmer for a while. I do the same saladings. I buy my saladings and put it in a 9x13 pan with paper towels on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Clean it all, lay it in there with a paper towel on top, and my saladings will last 2 weeks.
It's impressive.
Of course, I keep my refrigerator cold.
Yeah, but it's kind of like an ice box.
Well, from what I've read, though, it's where it's supposed to be. Most people don't keep their refrigerator cold enough. So I still have crunchy salad, a week and a half to 2 weeks after I bought it. So you have to experiment a little bit, but mostly I just take advantage of a freezer and being able to make that big meal that you're very comfortable making, and then freezing it. I have learned that freezing cookies only works a little bit because for some reason my brain may not think to take out dinner, but it never has a problem saying, we should take out 3 of those cookies this morning because you're going to want them later. So, psychology works in strange and mysterious ways.
True story. It does. But one of the things that, minus your...
I haven't told you that, had I?
No, minus your cookie issue. One of the things that I think both of us do, family or single, that is incredibly helpful is that when we cook, say, we want to make hamburger. So later in the week, we'll have chili and, maybe bolognese sauce with your pasta. Is that when we cook it for that first time, we cook all of it. Yeah. And then it's pre-cooked and ready for the next time you need it. So if I want to do tacos later in the week because suddenly the not guacamole, but the avocados get ripe sooner than I had thought, and I don't have time to pull out, chicken or pork or something else, I can use that ground beef for my tacos. So it's leftovers, people, though. Like the idea that leftovers have to be awful or the same thing 12 times is not accurate.
Exactly.
And that's what I think for us, when we talk about food prep, that's what we're really trying to hit home for everybody, is that little tiny bit of forethought of, I know that I want to have chili, or I know that we want to do tacos, or that we want to do pasta and bolognese sauce or burger, maybe cook it as a hamburger at the beginning of the week and cook all of the hamburger as hamburgers. And then the next meal, we have hamburgers, but now you just chop them up and suddenly you have bolognese sauce. Yeah. Suddenly you have tacos. Suddenly you have chili meat.
What do they call steak burger?
Yeah. Salisbury steak.
Yeah. A little gravy and a potato, and you've got another meal from the same thing.
Yeah. You've got 6 meals with hamburgers.
And you don't have to eat it all that week because it's frozen. So you're creating your own TV dinners with much less hassle.
And much less salt, unless you put it on there yourself.
Yeah.
But another thing that I learned that you and I differ about is I like making bread. And I know you love making bread too, because I know how much you love to eat it. But I like to make bread by making a very low low energy, no need, throw it in my refrigerator dough once it's risen. And you are very traditional, like want to knead and have that experience. I don't have the time. I just don't, and I don't want to go through all that, especially with my shoulder.
Yeah.
So taking that time to learn that simple skill, like you don't have to know how to make bread from scratch with kneading it, punching it down like 3 times or 2 times. I know you love it.
It's like your sensory things you were just describing with food prep.
I have that sensory experience. It's one time of mixing it and then let it do its thing.
Oh, it's not the same.
Oh, but for me it is.
Well, and I will say though again, as a single person, the recipe I use usually will make 3 loaves.
Yep.
I cut them in half, wrap them in saran wrap, put them in a plastic bag, and put them in the freezer. Mm-hmm. So I'm learning that I don't have to eat it all at once, even though I would like to. But it's also, I'm only doing that once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, so
we go through more bread than that.
It's still not a lot of time, you know. But it's like food prep is just finding out. It's like diets. It's just finding out what works.
Yeah.
What is the kink in your plan, and find a way to get around that. Find a solution for yourself that works to make it easier.
One of the things that when I was teaching, again, I'm going to go back to that example. When I was teaching, my husband and I realized that we were notorious for forgetting to pull out meat. So what he did is he did a lot of research online, and he's like, I'm going to buy you a New Wave oven. I'm like, what the heck is a New Wave oven? It's one more thing to take up counter space. Yeah. But that saved my butt, because what we were able to do was we were able to put something in there from frozen, and in 30-ish minutes, while I was prepping all the other aspects of dinner, a roast could cook, or chicken breast could cook from frozen. So we had that as an available resource. Now, mind you, it doesn't exist in my kitchen anymore, mainly because I'm able to, since I work from home now, I can take more time to do things. I don't have to stress out. If I forget, at 11 o'clock, I can still pull out a roast and have it thaw in time. It doesn't have to be overnight. Taking the time to thaw because I'm home. But if you're working in an office, something like that would work. Instapot is hugely notorious for that. I don't like them because I've already got a pressure canner and a traditional pressure cooker. I don't need one more kitchen gadget. Yeah. But if you're on a time crunch and you really still want to do those kind of meals, an Instapot would be a great option. If that's something that you're open for. And, another one.
Crock pots. Crock
pots are great. I don't like to cook meat in there, but heck, I will definitely do, all my broth gets made in there. So, and my tomato sauce from scratch gets made in there. I do a lot more vegetarian meals out of a crock pot than I do a meat dish. But that's just me, because I don't like that. But other people I know live and die by their crock pot. One of my friends I swear she's got like 20 cookbooks for different crock pot recipes, and she's really good at it. It doesn't work for me. And that means it's okay. Like, it doesn't have to be what works for you, what works for me, what works for her. And I think that's the valuable point, is that food prep is what it needs to be for your family. Yeah. If that's bento boxes for kids for lunch that you can do on a Saturday or a Sunday before the week for school, rock it. If that is utilizing your crock pot, rock it. If that's taking the time to pull out food, do it.
One other little tip is, if you have a couple things in your fridge or pantry and you don't know what you want, try Googling it. Just put in recipe with potatoes and sauerkraut, and you'll be surprised at how many things come up. that use that, and then you just look for those things that you have those ingredients at home, or you can replace with something. I got a cabbage by mistake instead of lettuce.
Okay.
And it was a door service.
Okay.
And I thought, like, what am I going to do with all this cabbage?
It's a lot of cabbage.
And I ended up making a great cabbage casserole when I put in 3 or 4 things that I had right then. And it ended up, it's on my favorite recipes list, which I would have never looked at. Not that I don't like cabbage, it's just not one of the things, because it's usually more than I can eat. And it was simple to make. You didn't have to roll up anything. It was a wonderful casserole. And so also take advantage of the internet for
ideas.
Ways to use a cake mix, or even how to make your own cake mix.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all there. And put the word easy in, and you'll get 100 more recipes.
Exactly. And I will tell you another hack on that one. If they have the button that says scroll to the recipe, just click it.
Yeah.
I love all their stories.
Yeah.
I will go back and read them if I like that recipe.
Yeah.
But just scroll straight to the recipe.
So you can see if you have what you need to go forward. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Great tips. Yeah.
If there's any ideas or hacks that you have for your food prep or questions, please put them in the comments. We're very interested. Again, former teacher, everyone always questioned how I actually did it. And I did it by just that little bit of shift in mentality.
Yeah.
And it, knock knock pad saved my life. It was just a simple concept, but it completely changed the way I do things.
Find the little glitch you have to fix and make it work for you. And it'll save you money, it'll save you time, and more than likely you'll eat a lot healthier.